Welcome to the study. This is Professor Hemlock here. Today we are reviewing a viewer video of a plus 16 The Other Side. Now, this is not just any video review. We actually have a unique viewer video here. This one is using an entirely different build for Mythic Plus than I would traditionally use. This build focuses on using Arcane Echo and using the Arcane Harmony Legendary. As you can kind of tell, this is a EU viewer, by the way, a little German. So focusing on Arcane Harmony and then Arcane Echo, this build is very different than what we would normally play in Mythic Plus and is considered meta, right? You can kind of even tell in the secondary stat use on our viewer here in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. The viewer is stacking a large amount of haste and crit. So this is a haste crit build with some mastery and verse thrown in. And it focuses really on getting your arcane missiles to be cast really, really fast. And you're trying to spend your mana as fast as possible to get more clear cast procs, build up those large barrages, dump them at 15, have a very large barrage on an AoE pack or even in a single target situation. And you're funneling a lot of damage through your Touch of the Magi windows. I do think this build is a little bit less effective than the Arcane Execute Legendary, but in all reality, if you're able to play the spec correctly, there's some key points in this video we'll go over on generic playstyle here that is going to be very educational in like the doesn't matter what spec or what legendary you play as much as how to effectively utilize your cooldowns to maximize damage output. And I do think something is worth noting here as well. He's going to pull it up here for us. This Soulbind tree right here. So this is, whoo-wee! I love this Soulbind build. I'm going to be making a video later this week on this Soulbind build specifically. This is insane amount of damage improvement. So I'm looking forward to that video. But anyways, he's running Karain, you're running Wild Hunt Tactics, and you're running the crit if you hit the enemy first, okay? So essentially what that does is at that top end, you are going to squeeze in a ton of damage bonus. Not only are you getting a flat damage increase, you have a 25% crit bonus, you're hitting like a truck. It is a really fun build, so I do love this Soulbind that the viewer is using here. Okay, let's kick her off. I will be pausing the video occasionally. So right here, it looks like they're going to do the big pull into Lust Open. Our viewer's gotten a really good position here. Right here, opens with full damage go. That is Touch of the Magi into Arcane Power. A little bit of something I want to talk about while we're in the middle of this pull here is take a look at the screen here. We have a lot going on with the UI. Now, this is more of a personal philosophy of mine. I do not prefer cluttery UIs. You can kind of see that it is actually, it's very difficult to actually see what is going on the battlefield right now. I can see some of this as being useful. Like, I love the kick tracker. That's great. There's also a weak aura right here that showcases how many explosives are on the ground. That's great. Some things that I would modify personally. I don't think we need to show the pride percentage. This is going to be inherent when you're doing the dungeon anyways, especially once you're more experienced and you know the pride timers naturally. In addition to this UI clutter in the center here, I think the problem with this specifically is once you've gotten more used to Arcane and you've played it more often, this type of UI it just becomes clutter. You're going to know when you have your cooldowns available. You're going to know your rotation more familiarly. And if you absolutely need to look at your cooldowns, he still has the action bars visible. That way you're able to still see cooldowns if you need to. So this kind of is a little excessive in my opinion. If you're just starting out on Arcane, it is a great tool to help build you to be more comfortable with your cooldowns and be more comfortable with managing those cooldowns and being aware of your buffs and debuff situation. But it's something you'll want to transition out of as you get more experienced to becoming more aware of the battlefield in front of you. If you're getting hit by AoEs, if you're getting hit by boss mechanics or Mobs are you're getting aggro and you're getting hit by them and you're not kiting effectively. These are all things that could be aided by having better battlefield awareness. So we're going to continue on here. Now, unfortunately, it does look like he had to leave the rune, but that's okay. Going into a traditional AoE rotation now, after having used the big AP opener, and with the Arcane Echo build, when you do use Touch of the Magi AP, you're actually single targeting a mob and relying on Arcane Missiles to do the Echo spread damage. So it's really effective up to 8 targets. Now, going into this pull, they're using the skip method here. They'll come back to this pack later, but you can kind of see that ad is pathing. So they're going to drop down, pull that ad, use the jug, and then they're going to circle back up top to kill that pack afterwards at later. This is a pretty good method. It's effective because you're able to utilize your cooldowns more effectively and time the dungeon a little bit more effectively as well. So this is great pathing, whether the tank decided to do that pathing or not. Good job not dropping the rune. Okay, he's waiting for the mob. They spawn the ads. They're all silenced. Now we go into our secondary damage rotation. He drops rune. We get the Touch of the Magi, and it's Arcane Missile spam after that. Fishing for clear casting procs. When you get the clear casting procs, dumping the clear casting procs instantly. After the Touch of the Magi wears off, great rotation. Everything's really smooth right here. Now, something I would have done right there after my Touch of the Magi window ended, you can see on his cooldown tracker here that we have shifting power off cooldown. Now, it looks like when they go back to this next pack, if he had shifting powered right there, you'd have your AP in lined up with your Touch of the Magi again. So we'll see how this kind of pans out. So yeah, that was kind of right in this situation. Right here, if all that the previous pack when you were killing that single mob, if there was utilization of the shifting power, you would have then been able to instantly Touch of the Magi into your AP window right on pull here. Instead, now it more appears as if you're holding. Do use mirror images, which is really good there, and orb into a barrage, which is really good. And then goes into the Touch of the Magi AP when the pack is already low. So when you're playing that Karain Soulbind, okay, this is a big problem, right? When you're playing Karain and you're running the Wild Hunt tactics and you're doing the crit on first hit, right? What our viewer did there was, since it desynced the cooldowns and wasn't effectively utilizing shifting power, now we have AP without Wild Hunt tactics and without the crit bonus from the top percent of the damage done. So this is not only ineffectively utilizing cooldowns, but we're not even utilizing our Soulbind ability at all right now. So that's going to substantially reduce the amount of damage done. And you can kind of see it in the damage done meters for this pull. Pulling around 9,000 damage on an AoE pack is very low for an Arcane Mage, especially with AP up. So that desyncing of the cooldowns there is a definite problem. Now, once the pack got low and AP was down, we still are looking at our cooldowns there, and we still had shifting power up and available for use. So it looks like we are currently having a very low awareness on shifting power. When shifting power can be utilized, it's a 1-minute cooldown, and it gives you 15 seconds of cooldown reduction every single time you use it. That's massive. So we do get the rune. Now right here, our rune and Touch of the Magi have been used. This is right here, perfect time to shifting power. This would have been a great utilization, but it looks like no longer using the shifting power there as well. So now just going into a standard single target for the Pride, all you really got to be aware of is the AoE, and great job here, avoiding mechanics. Even though the Druid's trying to hit our viewer with the Pride debuff. This still would have been a great time to utilize Shifting Power again. But now it looks like a Shifting Power use would have had AP up again for this position. But this was still a good utilization right there. Oh, unfortunate. Unfortunate. So that's kind of unlucky. Drop the rune, use Touch of the Magi, and then had to shimmer away because of the boss mechanic. That's just an unfortunate event right there. But either way, we should have had AP utilized for this Pride pack. Lining up your AP goes with Pride is extremely important. You're maximizing not only your DPS, but your effective group damage. Now, as is traditional with this dungeon, you run back and you do the first zone. Now, currently we have every cooldown up right now, so this is a great time to go into that first pack with a big AP go. And it looks like, yep, we're getting the prep. We're going into the Touch of the Magi. AP, hitting the missiles. Great. This right here is a good utilization of cooldowns. Lots of damage. I mean, look at the damage meter. That's 23k DPS right there. That is monstrous damage. Really good, really effective use. Now that we're done with our AP go and our tank is continuing to pull into the next pack, though, Shifting Power. So I'm going to pause the video here real quick. Right there. Small mistake, right? This is kind of a positional mistake. This is a little bit of lack of utilization of cooldowns, too. So right here in this situation, these mobs do a Blade Storm, right? So if I were to position myself perfectly against this, I would want to be about 8 yards away from them. So when they AoE, I'll be safe, but they'll still be in Arcane Explosion range. I would have dropped my rune first and then Shifting Powered. So if you drop your rune first, you're not only going to get more damage out of your Shifting Power, but the Shifting Power use is going to pull that thing right off cooldown again. And you would have had all of your cooldowns up and ready to be utilized another time before that pack. So it looks like right now we're just kind of having a desyncing. And there we go. We do get the rune out, and we do get a Touch of the Magi. So this kind of makes some sense if you're saving rune and Touch of the Magi together. If you'd still dropped rune and Shifting Power, rune lasts 12 seconds, Touch of the Magi is only half of that. You still would have been able to rune, Shifting Power, Touch of the Magi, and get a full window out of your Touch of the Magi, however. So right now, this is a not safe position to be in. You're really close to the mob. They're going to spawn a little zombie boy here. And get hit by the zombie boy, so that's unfortunate. Small positioning error there. Obviously, dying sucks, but that's not, that's not the end of the world here. So right now, something we want to be aware of, there we go. We get the intellect buff back up. Super important. Good memorization on the intellect buff. Very important to maintain your int if you do happen to die. Unfortunately, he's going to lose the food buff, which sucks. Now, right now, since the user is running Arcane Echo, we are trying to currently stack up our Clearcast procs for this next pack, which is going to be a very thick pack. Happen to get 2 charges, so this is great. We're going to go into a Touch of the Magi, AP window here. There he goes. And you got those Clearcasting procs to maximize damage. And then just continually funneling that Arcane Explosion. Once Touch of the Magi is down, pretty good use right there. Could have dropped the rune prior to the Touch of the Magi, but that's not entirely that big of a mistake because Touch of the Magi is going to be back up. And you're going to have Pride after this pack anyways. So not too big of a deal there with the cooldown exchange on that one. All right, good. Very good positional change here. Pulling back for that Pride is really smart. That way, when you get the Pride debuff, you're not going to be as likely to hit any of your teammates. Does do rune Touch of the Magi here. I think this is fine. Probably going to have all this back up for the boss, so totally a safe use of cooldowns here. And then now look, due to his positioning versus his group comp's positioning, they're going to be able to have a safe use of the Pride. Good awareness with the Shimmer there too. And there we go. That's what we want to see with that shifting power use. Now, there will be AP up, there will be Touch of the Magi up, and there will be Rune up for this Pride. So this is going to be a perfect situation to have maximum single target DPS. One thing to note on pull here, since our user is running Arcane Echo, it actually was probably better to drop Rune and do a build phase first, and then go into a burst phase after. Since you are running the Harmony and you are running Arcane Echo, probably would have been a better utilization of Pride and cooldowns to go into that after, especially since this group didn't have Lust up for the first boss. And we'll see. So right here, now kind of pause the video here again. We have 30 seconds left on Pride. We have Rune available, and this is on a 30-second cooldown anyways, with shifting coming up in 30. So what we could have done here was drop our Rune. Once shifting came up, right now we would have maximized our damage in this last 30 seconds of our Pride here. And also, we have still had our crit buff, so we could have maintained more higher percent crit for our Arcane Blast, and we could have pumped out a lot more damage in that small window. So a little bit of misuse of some DPS cooldowns for this boss, and could have done better to maximize damage output. Good job targeting that ad. It doesn't look like your group has the total DPS to single phase this boss, so killing the ads is very important. Now right there, that's kind of what I was assuming was going to happen. Could have utilized shifting power to effectively have a same Rune and Touch of the Magi again, but now shifting power is going to remain on cooldown, and you've got to maximize your single target damage. Boss is at 25%. We got 25 seconds on our AP, so we should probably hold Touch of the Magi here. We do have a Rune back up. Really good targeting of the ads so far by the group overall, since their DPS wasn't able to down the boss. I think this is a fair use of Time Warp. These ads are going to eventually become very overwhelming. And now we have Touch of the Magi into our AP to clean out these ads. This timing actually kind of worked out very decently here for the killing the ads. They probably could have phased that boss sooner had the single target damage been a little higher. Their Boomkin only putting out 5.7k DPS looks like that's a problem with their Boomkin. A normal Boomkin would be putting out anywhere between 8 and 10k single target DPS on that boss. So definitely a lack of total group damage there. The Warrior didn't output a lot of damage. I mean, the Warrior nearly got beat by the tank. So definitely a lack of group damage caused our mage here to have to suboptimally utilize some of the time warp effects. Now this time right here, this is something to note too. If you had shifting power available, there's a long walk between time zones in this section, and since AP was utilized near the end of the pack, you could utilize shifting power again, right? Since we have that 1 minute cooldown on shifting power, it's going to be back up soon, and we're trying to maximize our damage with our AP windows. So even though it's, you think of it as a damage cooldown, it could also just simply be a cooldown reduction cooldown. All right, Haymaker. Our viewer lines very well. So this could also be a time where you'd alter time. It's a very min-maxy thing, but if you alter timed right there, you would have been able to instantaneously teleport back and stay in that AoE a little bit. So you could have took a hit, kept doing damage, moved out of the way, alter timed back and been at full health and in correct positioning, and maintained probably 2 or even 3 globals of extra damage right there. So shifting power was utilized there. A fairly good use, a little bit better than previous uses. Did have arcane power ready for use, so could have maximized it a little bit better by waiting to use shifting power till after, but at this point I think utilizing shifting power is good no matter what. Good job on the boomkin of moving out. Those mobs are immune to Frost Nova, so unfortunately you wasted global there, but again, that's min-max stuff. That's not that big of a deal. Perfect job. They let the stacks of the debuff that does damage go away. That's good. Good job getting mana back. Now right here we have Rune, Touch of the Magi. This tank is going to pull all of these together. Whoo-wee! This tank is fearless. Look at that Demon Hunter tank. It just stands in the haymaker. No questions. That's a fearless tank right there. Good utilization of Rune and Touch of the Magi there. That's what we were wanting right there. That is beautiful. That is exactly how your off AP goes should happen right there. Perfect. Every time wants to look like that. Saving Touch of the Magi for AP, saving Touch of the Magi for Rune. You're going to be able to maximize DPS output by capitalizing off those cooldowns. Now right here, we have everything on cooldown. Let's smack that shifting power button. Smash that button. Smash that button. So we're holding shifting power. Overall, I don't want to harp too much on the shifting power utilization, but this viewer specifically could have a lot more cooldown utilization. By the end of this dungeon, probably even 2 or 3 more uses of arcane power just by simply utilizing shifting power more often. So definitely something to be aware of. If you're holding that shifting power too long, sometimes it's better just to get it out there when you have things on cooldown. After you use AP, after you've used Rune, those situations are really good at utilizing shifting power. And this situation is another one of those good examples. So right there had Orb off cooldown, and shifting power off of cooldown, and Rune off of cooldown. It is just one mob, but going into this next pack would have been a little bit more effective utilization of cooldowns. Now, Pride does spawn after this next pack, so if we had done more of the shifting power utilization, we could have gotten a little bit better on AP. Great use, though. Another Rune lined up with Touch of the Magi. Perfect! And look at the damage now. 9k, 10k. These are some really good numbers. Now we've got shifting power. Go in for the shifting power. Right here. Maybe. There it is. All right. That's our guy right there. Very good. Very good. Now for this Pride here, you have the option to Rune into Touch of the Magi. Or you could hold. It's a little bit risky to use it because you might not have it up for the next boss. So I think it's actually safe to hold here. Is he gonna? There we go. Good move. All right, so we got everything up for Millhouse here. So this is going to be great. Right now, I would be positioning myself closer to the other side so we can be in position to move and move. Good, good, good luck. Let's go, let's go, let's go! So right here, I would apply Prismatic Barrier right now because we're going to be taking damage on this fight. That way you get your prismatic barrier on cooldown, and you can reuse it if you end up soaking too much damage. I think this is actually fine here to go straight into an AP window instead of building, due to this fight's really long and you're going to probably get 2 AP uses anyways. Okay, so we need to step out of this once we get the buff drop. Perfect. Beautiful. Step back into the soak. We got to utilize the defensive, please! Invis! Oh, that was scary. So right there, our mage is really low. Unfortunately, gets a mistimed shifting power. Our mage is taking a lot of damage right now. This is where you need to invis. You need to use mirror images. And ouch. That hurts. That hurts. Do get a battle res though, that's fine. Gotta use those defensives. Alter time would have been a great defensive when you stepped into that soak mechanic. Not only, of course, could you alter back into the same place. Okay, we got this. Good job moving out of the Shadow Fury there. But you could have altered timed to avoid all that damage when the Druid had healed you up to full. Of course, Invis is 3 seconds of 50% less damage. Would have been a great time to utilize Invis right there. So right now, doing great. We're building up Clearcast procs. Unfortunately, one of those Clearcast procs drops. Oh, please! Invis! You're gonna die! Oh. Our mage is scaring me right now. Our mage is scaring me. Dropping to 25%, not using the defensive. Okay, we're in a soak. We're at 100%. Great time. Utilize the defensive. It's okay. Our druid's keeping us up through it. Could use a shifting power there. Probably would have done that the other way around. Evocated, then shifting powered, but it's minimalistic. That's just... you're going to have evocation up for your next time anyways. Going into a damage rotation with the Touch of the Magi AP. Really smooth. And we're just kind of, at this point, pumping out this boss. Could have dropped Rune right here. You're not moving. You're just standing there and casting anyways. Would have been a fine time to drop Rune and just to get that extra damage bonus. You don't need to move. Maybe we drop Rune here? No, okay. Good stuff, good stuff. So really, this fight kind of was a big note on defensive use. Mirror images needed to be used. Invis could have been used. Prismatic Barrier should have been precast at pull. And then when you needed it again, you would have had Prismatic Barrier up again. So Prismatic Barrier is about an 8,000 absorb. So you could have had a 16,000 damage absorb in that situation. And you might not have even needed to utilize any other defensives in that situation. And you could have held them for the next times you were taking a bunch of damage. There we go. Beautiful use right there. Rune into Touch of the Magi. That's how it should be done right there. Mwah. Woo, shimmer out of there. Good shimmer. So right now we have everything on cooldown. We could shifting power here. This would probably be the perfect time to shifting power right now. It looks like our other DPS can finish off this mob before we need to focus on single targeting. And we're about to go into a phase where we have to walk a bunch, so our cooldown reductions would be very important to utilize there. Our mage is currently holding 5.4k overall DPS. So we're going to jar here. Druid's going in for the jar. Mirror images popped first. Great kick, getting it near the jar. Here we go, Touch of the Magi, AP. Beautiful! All right, all right. I love to see this. This is exactly what you want to do. That was a great kick. It pulled the mob into the jug. Then perfect utilization of the cooldowns going into the AP touch window. Now let's see if we continue this utilization of the cooldowns. Spell stole the haste buff. We got a gamer on our hands. That haste buff right there that the big dude applies to himself can be spell stole, and then you essentially get a short bloodlust. Could have probably utilized rune right there. Shifting power still on cooldown. We're doing good so far. Timer-wise, we're doing really well right now. We're getting into this is probably the best zone for mages right here. Oh, the damage output. Good double shimmer, get past. I like to double shimmer Night Fae there as well. I ain't gonna be the one dying to that. Okay, here we go. So we got a big AoE pull coming up here. This is typically like the chonkiest pull. I think our mage is holding for AP, it looks like. Yes, mage is holding for AP. So right there, again, that same mistake kind of occurred. Lack of utilization of shifting power. And then our wild hunt tactics, that buff with the 10% bonus damage and the crit bonus that only lasts for 5 seconds, wasted. Thrown out the window, not casted upon. And then AP, not a good utilization of the AP due to missing out on that bonus damage. Right here, this is a 3-target situation. When there's 3 targets, you do want to use your AoE rotation instead of your single target rotation. So orb should be cast here. There we go. And barrage. Good, 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 good. Now that it's a 2-target situation, you can go to single target rotation. Dropped our rune, Touch of the Magi. Good stuff, good stuff. And an orb. I love it. That was a really good pull. Shifting powers up cooldown in 5 seconds. Shifting powers up right now. Perfect time to shifting power. Absolutely perfect. Every single ability is on cooldown. Shifting power. There we go. There's our guy. Good stuff, good stuff. Shifting power into orb. Slap a barrage. 2 target, single target. Very nice. Okay. Cleaning up. Now right here, could probably drop rune and do yes, all right. This tank is really, really good. That tank right there just used his imprison to incap a pack of mobs that he would have had to pull later to get a group pull going for the next big pack. I mean, this tank that's a really, really skilled tank. Very good awareness. Okay, so this is going to be a massive pull right here. Right here, I typically would pop a defensive. And then, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Our mage pops a defensive. Orb, barrage, and shifting power. Oh, no, the silence. Oh, my heart. My heart. Unfortunately, that was just very unfortunate. The mobs dropped an AoE silence. Possibly could have been avoided with a shimmer. But it's really tight quarters, and it's really hard to see those things there. You know, it kind of maybe goes back to the UI. Because they do have that appearance on the ground for quite a while. Overall, that was like ideal as far as the rotational aspect, really clean. Was aware and utilizing the shifting power, but didn't get the use out of it due to lack of ground awareness. Oh, that's a heartbreaker, though. Rune, Touch of the Magi, very good. Now we have shifting power up again. It's on a 1-minute cooldown. It is very, very short. You can utilize that a whole bunch. So once the Touch of the Magi window is over, right now, Nova, boop. Yes, beautiful. We're thinking alike here. I like this. This is good. So this is a good shifting power time right here. Everything's on cooldown. Boom, shifting power. Right there. There it is. Okay. Clean. Real clean. 3 stacks. Good single targeting of the highest health mob when you had 3 stacks of the bursting. That weak aura on the top of the screen there is actually, that's a good weak aura right there. The explosive weak aura and the bursting weak aura. Much approved. Okay. We have Rune right here. Could utilize it, but we're not lining it up with Touch of the Magi. So, kind of suboptimal. Just going into an Arcane Explosion rotation. Saving Rune right now. Saving Touch of the Magi. This pack is nearly dead, so this is a great hold right here from our mage. 3 stacks of bursting. Ooh, barely didn't roll that over. And then Rune into the Touch of Magi right here. There's going to be a Pride spawn after this. This was a great utilization of cooldowns right here. Hopefully we see Shifting Power also being cast. Orb, Barrage. Good, good, good. Okay, now we go into a Shifting Power and then probably a single target rotation. Don't necessarily need to use Shifting Power at this point, though. This Pride isn't going to die within 10 to 15 seconds, so you're going to have all of your cooldowns back up. You could utilize it more for the evocation if you need mana during this fight. It's Tyrannical Week, so this could have been a good utilization just for the evocate. Not that big of a deal, though. Especially with Prideful, because you're going to have so much mana regen at the beginning of the fight. So we got to dump Barrage here first. Didn't dump Barrage there first. Time Warp. Had 15 charges of the Arcane Harmony right there. Could have dumped Barrage and maximized damage. Unfortunately, it would have had a second utilization of Arcane Harmony Legendary right there. So I should have opened with that Barrage, that way to maximize your Legendary effect. Wait for it, wait for it. Perfect. Very good. Okay, and Shifting Power. Oh, Shifting Power prior to dropping Rune, prior to using Touch of the Magi again. Oh, little bit of a mistake there. Good use of Orb right there. That was a really clean use of Orb. Had no arcane charges. Orbed got back up to 2. Oh, good stuff. Good job. Good movement. Great job moving out of mechanics. This is really what is separating our current player from a lot of beginner mistakes that I see. This is just great. Avoiding mechanics really effectively. That might have been a situation. Oh, arc lightning. I saw that druid running at our mage there with the arc lightning and got flattened. Oh. Okay, kind of see in the chat there they're calling out which position they want. Good job at removing the presence of the mind buff. That's actually something that I want to comment on. Our player just removed the touch of or the presence of mind buff when there was only one charge left and got it back on cooldown. That right there is a good move. Now you're going to have it up when you need it. We're going to get the food buff in. We got the food buff in. Let's go. All right. Doing a mini go here. Saving arcane power for the final phase. Stepping away from the rune early. Not terrible. On Tyrannical Week, this phase does actually matter how much damage you do. Because all damage done in this phase is going to be more beneficial towards after the final phase is. So good utilization of the mini cooldowns and holding AP there. You definitely want to hold AP for your totem phase. Oh, Shimmer. Okay, we got it. We might have to utilize some of those clear cast procs. Oh, got lucky. 1 second left and got a clear cast proc to reset the stat counter on clear cast. that was lucky. That was lucky. Okay, right here. Oh, this is going to be huge. Oh, maybe. No. Unfortunately, we did lose out on our our 2 of our clear cast stacks. It's kind of a bummer. Talk about nuking, though, right there. Here we go. I love it. Look at that shifting power use. That's what I'm talking about. Utilizing that shifting power right there means the second this coalescence happens, you're going to go back to the beginning. We got Rune off cooldown. We got Touch of the Magi off cooldown. We got Presence of Mind off cooldown. It's time to go into a little mini burst phase right here, right now. Boom. Rune. Touch. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That is great. That is perfect. And now it's just clean them up. Shimmer over. Good, good. Shifting power. Gonna get another rune and touch, maybe? Got some percentage to do it. There it is. Finish him off! We got a 15 stack of barrage here. Let's 2% left. We have Rune back off CD. Good stuff. Oh, tyrannical fights. Even after the nerf, they still feel pretty long. Didn't really need to evocate there. Could have rune touched it. There we go. Rune touch. Finish off that last percent. There it is. And that is a timed run. Good stuff. So, to kind of summarize here, big areas for improvement are going to be utilizing shifting power more often. Could have probably had 2 or 3 more arcane power windows if properly utilizing shifting power there. Especially in the gap phases on this dungeon when you're doing a lot of running, if you had shifting power off cooldown, utilizing it there, giving the cooldowns back while you were in those gap times, could have definitely got quite a few more AP goes in there. Later in the dungeon, we saw our player kind of learn those mistakes of not utilizing Rune and Touch of the Magi. Later in the dungeon, perfect utilization of Rune and Touch of the Magi. At the beginning, though, that first 50%, there was a lot of desyncing going on. So just being aware to utilize and be patient with your cooldowns. If there is a 5-second gap window, just hold, just be patient, slow down, wait for the Rune, hit the Touch of the Magi, shifting power, then have it up for your next AP go, AP Rune, or AP into Touch of the Magi, big damage, etc. Cycling cooldowns more effectively. And then a little bit better defensive utilization by our player here. Something could have been, especially on that second boss fight, should have Prismatic Barrier before pull, and then would have had a second Prismatic Barrier when you were absorbing the soak mechanic. Then when your Druid had let you get really low, you could have invis to reduce the amount of damage taken, or even mirror imaged. There was multiple defensive options available at that time, but it was the initial lack of starting with Prismatic Barrier that caused an additional 8,000 damage to not be absorbed. Overall, I gotta say the tank, whew, I wish this tank played NA. I would friend this tank in a heartbeat. That was a great path, great tanking, great pulls. Overall, our player did really good, though. On the meters right now, it's a 5.7k overall DPS. That is not bad by any means. Utilizing the Soulbind from Karain, you're definitely, I do want to be honest to everyone here, you will do more damage utilizing the traditional Execute Legendary and Resonance build. You simply will. Our player here has about the same gear score as me, and on this dungeon, I pull around 7+ DPS on it. So definitely something to be aware of. The traditional build is better than this build for Mythic Plus content, but if you're someone that does Mythic Plus and Raid, this build is still really good because it's going to be effective in Raid, it's going to be effective in Mythic Plus, and obviously, look, they timed the key. So it's not like this build is so bad that you're holding your group back by any means. That mage still topped the meters. Still topped the meters. Arcane is still really powerful. So I want to thank everyone for watching. If you're not subbed to the channel, please sub to the channel. It helps me out a lot. Like the video. Did you see something that I missed, maybe? Comment. Let me know. I want to thank everyone again. And our viewer, thank you so much for being open and sharing this video with us. It is definitely not easy to be critiqued all the time. So thank you for sharing. I hope everyone has a great day.